I'm most excited about just moving without fear. I don't second guess myself. I don't, if I like twist or bend, it's okay. Like I'm playing volleyball with her now. I'm looking forward to going to the park. So it's just so different because I'm not scared to do something. And
Awesome.
I'm off my medication as well.
So that is Pilar, an amazing student of mine who came to me after being diagnosed with spondylolisthesis grade 2 along with degenerative discs, who ended up having a fusion from L4 to S1. She had a lot of fear around movement, a lot of pain, a lot of stiffness, a lot of symptoms. We worked together, and in 12 weeks, she transformed her life, and now she's doing some amazing things. And today, I'm gonna be sharing an interview I did with her after graduating from the Strength and Pain Relief Accelerator program that I wanna share with you today. Now we'll be talking about the specific steps that she took, where she was at before she came into my world, and I was able to actually help her. And if you're interested, if you feel stuck, maybe you are post-fusion or you have disc herniations, bulges, you're living with chronic low back pain for years and you feel like you've tried everything, nothing you're doing seems to be working, and you want to get help, something outside of the medical model, away from stretches and injections and surgery and all that traditional stuff that you probably have already done. If you want help and you want to see if what I do can actually change your life, just go to fitnessforbackpain.com/apply. That'll give us an opportunity to have a conversation around your unique situation to see if what I do can actually help. Just go to fitnessforbackpain.com/apply. Now let's jump into the interview. Let's start with the story of who you are. What your background is, what your story is with your back situation. So quickly give us just a rundown of your diagnosis, the procedure that you had done, and then we'll go from there. So we'll start with that.
Sure. I mean, where do I start? It started a long time ago. So I think it was when I was about 32 years old. I'm 45 now. I was diagnosed with spondylolisthesis. At that time, it was grade 1. What happened, it was nothing tragic. I've been dealing with this all my life. I never even knew I had this. I went to pick up a hat and I couldn't get up. Literally, that's what happened. That's like the tragic event. It was not a car accident. It was nothing major. It was just picking up my hat. From that point forward, I really couldn't walk very well for about a week. So I was under a lot of pain medication. And at the time, I was actually abroad. I was in the Netherlands. I used to travel quite a bit. So I was going to spend 1 whole month in the Netherlands. It was day 1.
Oh my gosh.
So I had to go to the doctors over there and really waited till the inflammation went down. When I came back home, then I had gotten an MRI, and that's when I had the diagnosis of this. At that time, the doctor said, hey, we have, there's nothing I can do for you. Like, you're on your own, just manage your pain. Wow. And that's about it, really. So just through exercise on my own, I just did some research and, I used to run prior to that. So I stopped running, and then I just started doing more strength training at that time.
Okay.
And, I just joined my local gym, and I did a lot of my routine at home and then at the gym.
Yeah.
And I managed my pain for a very long time. Pains, I guess, came and went because it's just the soreness, it's just the constant moving is what triggered the pain.
Okay.
So in my story, basically kind of now shifting forward to about last year, it just continued to progress to the point where it almost was going to grade 3. So the doctor's like, I started feeling numbness in my hands and my toes. It wasn't like a lot of pain. It was more like numbness.
Okay.
So I guess you could get paralyzed because the stenosis was so severe and I had no disc at all. So it was pretty severe for me. I managed it just through exercise.
Okay. How long were you in pain for? Like when you were kind of navigating that diagnosis life, like what was that stint of time where you were dealing with that pain?
So it would come in spurs. Every time it shifted,
okay,
it was super painful. And I just literally took anti-inflammatories and kept going with my life. And it was it sometimes 1 week at a time, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes a month. It just depends on how, I guess, the shiftment of my spine kept going forward. And every
Okay.
time there was a shift, I literally felt that pain.
Wow. Okay. What was before obviously coming into this program and kind of going through the transformation that you've been through? What was your kind of go-to strategy for relief? I know you said you were kind of managing it through exercise. Was there anything that you were trying with the medical model? Did you kind of saw some kind of cool massage that you tried? Like, what were the strategies that you were implementing before coming here?
So before, I would stop exercising for about 3 to 4 days just to get the level of inflammation down, and I self-medicated actually. So I would take Doloneurodon, which is a medication that is sold in Mexico, and
Okay.
it's like a mixture of acetaminophen with different types of vitamin B complexes.
Okay.
So I just took that. I think they sell it here, but it's just maybe prescription in the US, but it doesn't
Right.
have that combo with the vitamins. So anyway, so I took a few rounds of that, rested for about 3 days, and then I did this what is this called? Shoot. Crossover symmetry.
Okay.
So crossover symmetry, I had the shoulder movements and then also the core. So I followed the regimen. They have a really nice plan where they do a little schedule for you saying, okay, this if you're in this level of pain, rest, don't do anything, and then maybe on the third or fourth day start slow. And that's what I actually did. I followed their program.
Okay. And then when you came, before coming to me, or I guess at the point of saying, okay, this isn't working, what I'm doing is kind of not filling all of my buckets that I want to be filled. At what point were you at before joining this program? You know, was it a pain thing? Was it a fear thing? Was it like,
okay,
what I'm doing isn't working? Like, where were you at before joining here?
so I had finished physical therapy. So this is, I guess, fast forward after my surgery and after I had done a completed the regimen for the physical therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I was ready to go to the gym, but then my husband's like, yeah, no, you're not going anywhere. You need to start slow. So he actually encouraged me to start looking for a program that would help me make that transition from, basically post physical therapy to joining a gym or being more comfortable. And his thing is like, yeah, you were very physically active before your surgery, but now is like I had to learn how to sit for 3 months. I couldn't really sit. So even just that movement of sitting down, the hinging,
Yeah.
I was terrified. So
Yeah.
that's where I was at. Yeah.
Yeah. So getting into the program, what would you say were some of the biggest just aha moments for you after joining? You're like, you really don't know what you're getting yourself into. We had a conversation. You were a perfect fit. What we do with people, especially people who are post fusion. What would you say was like along the way? You don't have to say a very specific thing, but what was your big aha moment? Did you have a couple of them where you're like, wow, this is different. I've never seen this before. I can see where this is going to go as far as start working goes. What was that for you?
Oh, that's a great question. Maybe it was during week 3 or 4 when I started putting maybe more of the exercises together, because you initially start off slow and
Right.
Other readings help as well. Actually, I ordered all the books. I think I'm book 3.
Okay.
So I have one more book to go. But I think it was about week 4 when it was like more getting just the more movement and engaging like the core. It's huge. Like, yes, I went to physical therapy. I learned that, but it wasn't something that I had to keep in mind. And it was because you said, okay, you have to get up every hour on the hour and straighten your back, fix your posture, find the neutral spine for you, whatever feels more comfortable for you. I
Right.
think around week 4, it was like the aha moment. And especially what I noticed is I was standing in the kitchen. Usually if I like wash the dishes, I had to take a break and lay down because I was
Wow.
sore. So afterwards I noticed, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't really need a break. I could actually just keep going. So that was really nice.
That's awesome. What would you say and you may not have had any just doubts getting into it, but what would you say was your biggest fear joining and starting something that this stranger online is saying that he can help me? What would you say was your kind of nervousness coming into it, if you even had one?
So you know what, nervousness, because I just Googled it, Googled like, I guess individuals who focus on like post surgery.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this person legit? Like, that was my number one concern, right? Because it wasn't like you were referred to me by somebody else. So I think that was the most kind of, I guess, fearful aspect of joining the program.
Yeah. And that's super common, because you're talking about someone online. We're kind of taught, and I guess in a way brainwashed into believing that the medical model is the only way to go, right? The medical model, they're the ones who cut me open. They're the ones who fused my vertebrae together. They know me in that like intimate, weird that I don't want them to know me as, but they do. So it's like, well, they're the ones who put this in my body. So they're the ones who should know what's best for me. And I think that is like a big shift that I like to encourage people with, whether it is post-fusion or just chronic back pain situations. It's like, man, like you have so much control. Like you still are the driver of your body, the driver of the future you, despite what operation you might have had. And it's good to get wisdom from the people who, did the procedure. Obviously, I would never say don't consult with a doctor, but it's like, also take the responsibility and say, I can control so much more. I can work through my confidence issues. I can work through the fears that I have. I just need someone who's kind of done it before, who's walked people through this. I think that's the cool thing about the internet is there's people out there, right? You don't have to be within a 7-mile radius of your home, which is kind of how PT is now. It's like, whatever's the closest back specialist to me, that's who I'm going to go with. And you don't know who you're getting, but online, it's like you can almost watch from a distance to see what this person's about, watch their content, whatever it might be, and see if the proof is in the pudding. And you did that. You made that investment in yourself, and your life is obviously different now. So that's really cool. So what would you say if you were talking to someone who's kind of on the fence of like doing something like this? How would you encourage them? Just kind of going back to your own fears, your own kind of maybe insecurities about doing it for the reasons you had. How would you encourage someone to say, man, just take that investment, take that leap of faith, and do it? How would you say that?
Oh, that's super interesting. I don't know. I'm just I say just go for it and follow it to the T, because it will help. I didn't even realize I had fear of doing certain things. So I feel like you really don't even know that you will or are struggling through something until you go through the entire program.
Right.
So
I love that.
I mean, it's really funny. Good. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know. And that's people. And that's something else to really kind of harp on for a second is, when we're talking about pain post-surgery, like we think it's like, all of our problems are just in this one little area. It's like where my fusion was. That's my problem. I got to fix the area, but it's not. Like back issues, confidence, fear, tension, tightness, all that is a systemic thing. It's a full body thing. So you don't have to you didn't spend years and years fixing your body. No, like you invested weeks of your time. Now 12 weeks have gone by, and now you're like, I'm ready to go on with my life and do the rest. Yes. It's such a small little blip of time. So it is a systemic thing. And that's one of the biggest things that people understand. It's like, okay, there's a lot more to this than just like getting a few core exercises that I didn't know about, right? There's no secrets. Right. It's just a matter of a formula putting yourself into. Love that. What are you most excited about now? Because I know you have a daughter, correct?
That is correct. I'm most excited about just moving without fear. And I say that because for 6 months, I was not really able to even coordinate my movements. I couldn't sit down properly. I couldn't lay down properly. It was just, I was very stiff because after the fusion surgery, you cannot twist or move So you basically can't do anything except walk up at about 5 minutes at a time.
Okay. Yeah.
So that, as you can imagine, 6 months of basically doing nothing but maybe walking around, I don't know, a whole of 45 minutes at most during the
Right.
day, it causes a lot of, I guess, just even just issues with your like neurological that I didn't even realize would come with this.
Right.
And I
Right.
think that was just like the biggest hurdle. Now it's just, I don't second guess myself. I don't, if I like twist or bend, it's okay. Like I'm playing volleyball with her now. I'm looking forward to going to the park, so it's just so different because I'm not scared to do something, and which I didn't realize I was before.
Yeah.
Even doing a squat, it's like, is this okay? Like, just I think it's it's like so dumb, but it's true.
Yeah, and I think you're on a process still where you're going to be challenging yourself. I know your biggest ultimate goal was to return back to the gym, right? You want to get back in the gym. That's kind of like your happy place. So not just going to the gym and doing body weight stuff or sitting on the treadmill. You want to go
Correct.
to the gym and like use your body and work out and not feel like this fusion has defined you and has put you in this little special population category where you
Yeah.
can't do that kind of stuff, right? And you can do that stuff, and you're going to continue to learn more about your body and what you still have to build resilience in, what you still have to build confidence in. But now, you're excited because you can get back to that stuff, right?
Yes, and if I trip or if my dog gets in the way and it bumps into me, it's just like, that extra little pull on the side. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Where before it was just like a major, major catastrophic event.
That's good. Well, I'm really excited for you. You've worked very hard. I remember some of your first initial check-ins. Like you're very detail oriented. You were very like you did the work, and that's the most important thing when it comes to people coming in the program. There's a lot of concepts that are not what you would typically see, and if you were to go to a generic PT or something like that, where you have a little print off, you got your little core exercises you do on your mat. It's not like that, right? Like it's a lot more of a process that like unpacks things that like challenge you in a way that you're like, oh my, I gotta like create new habits around some stuff. And you like 100% went all in. And sometimes it takes people weeks just to get on board with all the new stuff that they're like, wait, what is all this stuff? Like it takes them some time to get the buy-in, right? To understand this is a part of what they should be doing. But you're like, I'm all in. Like, I'm going to do everything he tells me to do. And you wrote it out. I loved watching your check-ins of how detailed they were. I actually use some of your check-ins that you, when you would write out what your desensitizing strategy is. It's a great example of something that fits in a very small window of time, right? Mapped out with getting all the tools in. Like you did exactly it, right? And you did it on your own, which is what I love. I really appreciate. I love seeing students really take what they learn and make it their own, make it fit their life, and you crushed it. So I just appreciate your hard work with it.
I was gonna say you would probably laugh. I have a folder where every week I would write it down, or print it out, and then I would make a little checklist for myself. Is the auditor in me?
Absolutely.
So I would write the week, and then like Monday, like each day of the week, and then just cross it off. So I noticed when my printer broke and I didn't have the printer, I'm like, oh, I didn't do it. I didn't do it because I didn't have my checklist. So needless to say, we ordered another printer. But it's keeping that checklist will keep you on track. And also it's very helpful. I have meetings back to back to back, and
right.
Just making sure that I schedule that into the calendar as well. That was very helpful for me.
I love it.
And like you said, really just cool. Breaking it down in manageable pieces.
Yeah. And I think that's a big thing too. That's the struggle with, obviously when this first major phase of the program is a 12-week time, right? So people are like, oh my gosh, I have to do everything. But sometimes it goes beyond that. Sometimes it goes 13 weeks or 14 weeks when it comes to mapping out, getting on track and doing your thing. But I think if you get into it, you start right away. You do what you've done, really map out, okay, my life is very busy. I can't just like kind of do this. I really want to do this. I want to own my recovery process. And you knock it out, you go into it, and you did it beautifully. So congrats on that. Now you can enjoy time with your family and not have to worry about your back. So that's a super big win.
Absolutely. And
Awesome.
I'm off my medication as well. So
that's awesome. Congratulations on that.
yeah.
Cool. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on here and just sharing some of your story. It's been a pleasure working with you and you just trusting me with your process. I'm super excited to hear about how you continue to progress, getting in the gym, building strength. And you can obviously always reach out if you got any questions for me. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
All right, see ya. I hope Pilar's story encourages you, gives you hope around your own unique story. If you personally have had a fusion, you feel scared, you feel broken, you feel like you can't do the things that you used to do, and now you are a different person because you don't know what to do. You're afraid of causing more damage, you're afraid of having another surgery, and you're not sure which direction to go. The medical model has kind of left you hanging. You've done your rehab, if you even were given rehab, and you're on your own, and that's you. If you feel stuck, if you feel like you need someone to help you, let's have a conversation around your unique story and see if what I do can actually help you. Just go to fitnessforbackpain.com/apply. That'll give us an opportunity to ask a few questions and get on a live call to discuss your unique situation and to really map out what you should be doing and whether or not what I do can actually change your life. So just go to fitnessforbackpain.com/apply and grab a time for us to chat. Thanks so much for watching. God bless. And I will see you on the next episode.